Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to the School of Personal Finance. My name is Rich McCormick. In this video, we are going to be going over the basics of estate planning for all you wealthy people out there. No, I'm just joking. This is estate planning for everyday people. Everybody needs an estate plan. So I'm going to show you the 6 basic things that I think are important in your estate plan. So before I get to the list of 6 things, I just want to say what estate planning is. Because a lot of times you think of estate planning and you think of, the house up on the hill. You think of very wealthy people driving, Bentleys, and they have, millions and millions of dollars that they need to leave to people, and everybody's fighting, going to the courthouse and fighting over who gets what. But in reality, estate planning is for everybody. And no matter what your situation, you need some type of estate planning, which is just planning for your death. As wonderful as that sounds, it's just having everything in order in case you were to pass away, where you don't leave everything in shambles to the people that you leave behind. So step 1 is just to create a file with a list of where all your crap is. So very simply, mine is called my in case I get hit by a bus file. And my wife knows exactly where it is on the computer. So if something were to happen to me, she could go pull up and see, where our will is stored, where are the keys to our safety deposit box, where do I have my 401ks, my IRAs, all of our brokerage accounts, all this stuff that she really doesn't pay much attention to now because I handle it. And if something were to happen to me, she just, she'd have to put on her detective hat and try to figure out where all this stuff is. So just to make things easier on her, I have a file listed out where she can find everything, important people to contact, all of that kind of stuff in just one nice little place where all she has to do is go click on it and be able to have all that information at her fingertips. So it's an easy thing to do, and believe me, you might not be here anymore for them to thank you for it, but they'll be appreciative that you did that in case the worst were to happen to you. So step number 2, and now this one requires the help of an attorney, or it doesn't require it, but I recommend that you use an attorney for it, and that's creating a will. So a will basically lays out your final wishes. If the worst were to happen to you, what do you want to happen? It lets the world know who you want to get what, who you want to take care of your kids. It basically is a legal document that tells the world what you want to happen. Now, there's no privacy with a will. So if privacy is important to you, then a trust would be a better option. A will goes through a court process called probate, and it's an open court. So anybody could come and listen to what is laid out in the will. But in my opinion, the biggest reason to have a will is if you have children. And if something happened to both you and your spouse at the same time, then you want to be very clear on who is going to be the guardians of your children. And obviously this is a conversation that you want to have with them before you name them in your will as guardians of your children. You also want to be very clear on who the financial custodian is for your children. Because if you pass away and your spouse passes away, hopefully there is going to be a big pile of money, of life insurance that's going to be left to take care of your children. And somebody has to be responsible for taking control of that money and making sure that it's invested and that it's spent the way that you want it to be. The third thing is a power of attorney document. Again, this is a document that you could find online, but I recommend you just have an attorney do all these documents together for you. But what a power of attorney does is you're able to appoint another individual to act on your behalf if you are not able to. So this is if you are still alive, maybe you're incapacitated, you're in the hospital, you're in a coma, and you want somebody else to be able to act on your behalf. So this document, it appoints that individual to be able to do so. Now you could have a very specific power of attorney for one item, like for a real estate closing, but in this instance, you want to have a general power of attorney. Typically you would have your spouse be that power of attorney or a very close loved one, where they would be able to act on your behalf if you were not able to. And one important thing to remember with the power of attorney is that it ceases upon death. So if you were to pass away in the hospital, the power of attorney is no longer valid. So number 4 is a healthcare proxy. This is another legal document drawn up by an attorney where you're appointing somebody to be able to make healthcare decisions on your behalf if you are no longer able to do so. So this is a tough one. This is a big responsibility to give somebody. So you want to make sure that you have, a very serious conversation with them about exactly what you want if you end up in this situation. A lot of people, they think of, pulling the plug, but there are a lot of smaller decisions that lead up to that point. So you want to make sure that they know exactly how you feel about everything and what you would want them to do for you in that situation. And it's difficult to have these conversations with doctors and to go through this process. So you want to make sure that you choose somebody who is strong-minded enough, who has confidence enough to have these conversations with the doctors and to ultimately make the decision that you want at the end of it and not let their emotions, kind of lead the way. All right, number 5 is a simple one, but it's one where if you forget about it, it sucks. And that's making sure your beneficiaries are up to date. So it's a simple task, go through your retirement accounts, your life insurance policies, and just make sure that you have the right beneficiaries on there. A lot of times people will start working right out of college and they'll name one of their parents on their 401k plan at work. And then they get married and they forget to change it. Or, divorces happen and you hear horror stories about people who got divorced, they're remarried, but they forgot to change the beneficiary in their life insurance policy and their ex-spouse gets all the money. That stuff is real. When you pass away, they go by the name that's written on those beneficiary forms, not what you have in your will or what, they think that you might have wanted. It doesn't matter. They're going by what's on that beneficiary form. So just take the simple exercise of going through and making sure that all your beneficiaries are exactly who you want them to be. And now number 6 is the hardest one. It's creating a video to leave to your loved ones if something happened to you. So it's a strange, thing to do, to have a video conversation, talking about how you're not here anymore and how much you love somebody. But if, that situation did come up, it would be great for your loved ones to have a final video of you telling them how much you love them. And also just wrapping up any final details or anything important that you would want them to know. You'll look back 40 years from now and watch the video and get a good laugh from it. All right, so that's it, everybody. Those are the 6 things that I recommend every person do when it comes to estate planning. Hopefully that was helpful. Please, if you haven't already, go to schoolofpersonalfinance.com, join my email list, check out all the content I have on there. I really enjoy making these videos. Please leave comments on them. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, and I hope to see you again soon. Join my Facebook group if you haven't done that as well, and I will see you again. Thanks.